All right, so this week what we're going to do is you guys are going to create an animated component. I'm only going to require one, although you might want to do more when you finish your thing here. Um, so um, I'm going to show you basically a couple of ways of doing this, and then you can kind of choose which way makes sense. So I'll just make a video for each one of them, and depending on what you want to do, one method might work better than another method for you, and so you can kind of make your choice from there. So you might want to just watch them and then kind of go from there. Okay, so the first method I'm going to show you is just how to animate straight ahead, like just basically drawing frame to frame. It's pretty simple and pretty easy, but it's kind of the most basic, so that's what I'm going to show you first. So as you see, I already put my text in, so I'm just going to go to this, go to all sides, right? I'm going to go inside of slide 1, and then I just renamed this one background, this one text, and then I made a new one called graphics, okay? What we're going to do is we're just going to make bubbles. I'm just going to draw a bubble animating upwards. Now, I could do it all inside this timeline, but it'd actually be easier if I make it separate as a symbol, because then what I can do is I can put each one of those in there, and then I can put I can duplicate that symbol and then have multiple bubbles instead of having to draw all the bubbles. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna go to the my brush here. So I'm just gonna use this one here, the paintbrush. I would either use the paintbrush or use the pencil. Either way, I'm gonna use a blue stroke. I'll just leave it at 3, and I'm just gonna go in here and I'm gonna draw like a bubble. Yay! Then I want to paint inside of it, so I'm gonna go to the paint bucket. I'm going to choose kind of a similar fill. We'll just choose basically the same color, and I'm going to take the opacity and make it 50%. That way you can be see-through. And I'm just going to paint in here. Now, if it doesn't fill, what you can do is that sometimes what ends up happening is there's actually little gaps in there. So if I go back to this, okay, so it filled. But if I have a tiny gap, it might not fill. If you click on here, it'll actually try to close, even if there's like small gaps, it'll try to fill those, okay? So we're going to call that my bubble. I'm going to grab it. We're going to hit F8 or go to modify, convert to symbol. We're going to choose movie clip, and we'll just call this bubbles underscore MC. And then I'm going to open it up, and we're just going to draw frame by frame. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to hit F7. Well, you could do it this way. Right click and do insert blank keyframe. Okay, and then we want to draw the next drawing. But I can't see the previous one, so we're going to put on onion skinning, and that will show me what the previous drawing is. I'm going to hit Y, because that's the hotkey for the brush tool. And I'm just going to go ahead and draw my next bubble. So I'm just going to go like this. Boom. Then I'm hit K, because that's my fill tool. I'm going to go boom. Right? And then I'm just going to hit F7 this time to insert a blank keyframe. I still have onion skinning on. And then I'm just going to hit Y, and I'm going to draw my next bubble. Okay? Then I'll hit K to fill it. Then I'll hit F7. I'll hit Y to go back to my brush tool. And I'm just going to draw the next one. Hit K for fill. F7 for the next keyframe. Y for my brush. And I'm just going to go down the line like this. And basically draw frame by frame like so. Okay. And I can turn this off so you can see. Also, just be aware that these are expandable, so you can make them bigger or shorter. So yours might like basically how much it shows. So if you only want to show the previous ones, just bring that all the way back, and then you can have it only show the previous frames. All right, and you can just click on that, turn it off, and you can see if I hit that, you can start to see what it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just animate the whole thing, and then when I'm done, I'll show you where to go from there. All right, so this is basically what I have. It's just going from the top to from the bottom to the top, and it just goes up. So I'm just going to back it up. I'm going to go to slide 1, and you can see I have it in the graphics here, and I am just going to put it there. Now, if I hit Control Enter, you will see, maybe you'll see, I'm going to put it over here, and you can see there's my bubble, and it's playing, which is pretty cool, right? So, but I need more bubbles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this one, and I'm just going to duplicate it. So I could just keep grabbing them from over here. And then I can hit Q to scale it. So I'll make this one a little bit bigger, and we'll put a little bit lower. And then I can also just duplicate them directly from here. Maybe make this one a little bit bigger, and then take this one. Oops, that one's already there. We'll hold Alt again. I'll make this one a little bit smaller, right? And so on and so forth. So we'll just take this one, put this one a little bit lower. And we'll just try that. So we should actually be able to just go here. And if I hit enter, oh, it's not going to work because it won't. Yeah, I do have to do it this way. And now you'll see, here's my bubbles. And they're just going to keep looping because that's what they do. And yeah, so there we go. Now I have bubbles that are bubblicious. Pretty great. Okay, so that is more or less a straight ahead method. You would just draw frame by frame by frame, and then you can, you know, have your accidentally hit the pause button there, and then it would basically just look like that. So again, I did it inside of a symbol that I put here, and then I just animated straight ahead, and it's just going to keep looping because of the way that we did it. So you probably want it to be something that loops, although there are ways to make it not loop. So like for instance, if I only wanted to go ever once, you would just on the end here, we would just have to add an action that would just say stop. So just like we did before, I'd make a new layer, call it actions, in case you do want to do this, actions. And then I would select that frame. I'm going to hit F9 to open up the actions panel. Go here, go to the HTML canvas, and then go stop at this frame. And now what will happen is you'll notice that it's only going to happen on, well, actually maybe it will happen to all of them. So you'll see they go up and then they stop. But if I refresh this, you'll see they'll go up, I guess because they're all the same ones. And so now they will all stop and they will only run the one time. So if that's something that you only want it to run once, that's one way of basically doing it. Okay, so, but yeah, so just frame by frame by frame. Let's just leave that layer too. Frame by frame by frame. And this is really simple. You could obviously do something much more complex, but I just want to give you an idea of how a frame by frame animation might work. So if you want to try and draw something every frame, that's one way of working.